I spent way too much money on art supplies. Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Creative Corner, where we do anything crafty and creative, and today we have I spent way too much money on art supplies. By the way, you're not seeing my face right now because I'm not at all prepared to film. My lighting is terrible. I'm filming on my phone, but we're gonna get through this. Now, I bought way too much arrtx stuff with a coupon code and on their sale. I bought almost everything they have, or at least one of everything every kind of art supply they have. We're gonna try them out because I spent my own money on this, because any review I see is either gifted or sponsored or something, and I want to try them out. I want to see the hype. So let's get into this. Let's just go over what we have here. We have the 60A and B sets of the acrylic markers. We have the acrylic marker set for the skin tones. We got back here, we got 90 kind of alcohol markers, skin tone markers, watercolor pencils, free watercolor pencils, regular colored pencils, and soft pastels. Some of this stuff you can buy open stock, some of it you can't, and some free stuff. Some free test markers, and they give me 2 tote bags, which is very cute. Now, I didn't buy, if you hear something in the background, that's the cat. He's being a menace. Now, if you see, I didn't buy the oil pastels, the drawing pencils, or what else did I buy? Or the paper, just because I figured that was, well, 1, I wouldn't use the oil pastels, but 2, figured drawing pencils and paper were fine to skip on this time. Let's get rolling. So first I did the arrtx colored pencils. I like the variety of colors, but they swatched well. They were kind of firm, yet a little creamy. Maybe, they're not as creamy as, say, a Prismacolor. They had a pretty good application when they swatched, but they do not have open stock, which is going to become a problem with some of these, a lot of these actually, because when I run out of a color, I want to be able to buy it again in just that one pencil.
What the dog doing?
So with the drawing here, I kind of just did a tracing of a tiny drawing, because these drawings already took me all day, because I did like 8 or 10 of them. When I started to really use them in a drawing, they weren't that great. They didn't layer the greatest. It was hard to fill the tooth of my mixed media paper. I was using Arteza 60 sheet mixed media paper, which is 110 pounds. So it should have been able to fill the tooth of the paper, at least in a couple layers. It felt like there was a lot of binder in there. But it is also, I calculated 55 cents a pencil. So you'll see my notes at the bottom here. It wasn't as, the Faber-Castells were smoother. The Prismacolors were, of course, creamy AF. The Caran d'Ache were firm and they applied better, but also they're, Caran d'Ache. So arrtx I give them a 5. I think I gave them a 5.5 out of 10, because they're fine pencils for 55 cents a pencil for 72 colors. I think it was 72 colors. You get a decent color range for your money. Now, for the watercolor pencils, they swatched pretty alright. Like, I like the swatch. I like the color variation. Again, the color variation in these sets are pretty good. Yeah, so I swatched these on watercolor paper because I wanted to give them the best that I possibly could. But overall, they didn't really fill the tooth of the paper. I think you better watercolor pencils, but overall, these swatch pretty alright.
What the dog doing?
Now, when we got to the actual drawing, it was a low-key nightmare. Again, here we have trace drawing of a cat, because again, I did like 8 drawings, and drawing for me takes forever. So, and I was already doing, this already took me all day. They didn't apply well on mixed media paper. Now, maybe it's because I use mixed media paper. But these should have held up. I shouldn't have to use water. Like, this was before they were activated. Like, you can see that it just, maybe it was just my application of them. I want to give these the benefit of the doubt because they're 63 cents a pencil. But also no up in stock. I have the Faber-Castells. They just applied better. They activated better. These activated terribly with water. I don't know. Maybe it's just my technique because I'm not the best with watercolor pencils. But overall, I give them like a 3 out of 10 because, again, they're just better alternatives. And you can buy other brands open stock. So when you run out of a color, you can buy it again. Next, for the soft pastels, I love a good pastel. So I'm always game for a good pastel. They weren't, I was underwhelmed. Because they were good. I like them. But I have so many other pastels and that are better quality, and I didn't know where this fit into my collection. I don't know where these would fit into my use. But they are 83 cents a pastel. That's a pretty good price for a pastel, 83 cents per pastel stick. And it's a half stick. So it's alright. It could be cheaper, but it could be more expensive. Fine coverage. Blending, fine. Like, again, I'm just not sure where it fits in with the rest of my pastels. If you just want a pastel set to fool around with, yeah, sure. Go for them. I give them probably a 5 out of 10. But there are just better pastels out there. Next would be the arrtx Alcohol Markers 90 set. Now, I really liked how these swatched. Because the thing is, brush tips. I'm not really a fan of brush tips because the brush tips normally are too flexible for me. And it's hard for me to have control of them. They were a lot easier to use and they were a lot firmer, which I liked. You know, they had a good color selection, good application. Again, no open stock. arrtx, please make these open stock and I will recommend them more. Also got the skin color set. Again, the skin color set I was a little underwhelmed by watching them, and I'm like, a lot of these colors are the same. Do I need 48 different colors? I really didn't think. I thought a lot of the colors were similar or the same. Like, I think maybe 24 would be fine. A 24 set for a lower price. That would be good. Like, I think a 24 set for skin colors. Because I just think there's just, like I said, a lot of repeating colors. They do kind of bleed, but on this mixed media paper, but that's mainly the fault of the paper. Alcohol markers bleed, that's kind of their thing. Trying to find an alcohol marker that doesn't bleed is like finding a unicorn. We compare them to someone like a Copic, there's no competition. Get the arrtx. We have them from Ohuhu. I couldn't find my Ohuhu. For $1.21 a marker, I really like it. And I really like how they were used in a drawing. The Copic had 2 marks of a soft nib. These had good firm brush nib. And I really, really liked them. 9 out of 10. I would give them 10 out of 10 if they had open stock. Next, now we're going to get into the meat of it. The acrylic paint markers. I got the 30 skin set. Now this one I liked. I liked love the application. The brush nib was great. It was very opaque, very creamy, good color variety. The 60A set. I really like the color variety. Goes on nicely, opaque, nice brush nib. Now, the metallic colors need help. The gold sucked, to be quite honest. The application was awful. The silver application was not great. Could be worse, but the silver application was not good. The metallics, fine. My black was a little too juicy, but that might just be a pen problem. But there were some other colors that weren't juicy enough. So maybe there might be some consistency problems. But the 60B set, again, great color selection. I really liked it. I think I might like it better than the 60A set. 60A and B were both open stock, which, thank you. When I run out of a color, I kind of expect to be able to buy just that color instead of having to buy a whole new set for 1 or 2 or 3 colors. Some are very juicy, but some aren't. So, again, I worry about consistency issues. Now, in the drawing, they were a little hard for small area. They're a little hard for a small drawing like this, but overall, very opaque, very nice. Worked well on mixed media paper. Mainly only had to use 1 layer on this paper, which I really like. I don't layer if I'm doing an illustration like this, I don't layer if I don't have to. Much like the alcohol markers, opaque, 1 layer mainly. Like I said, mostly available open stock, which, again, I'll keep stressing it. That's my favorite thing. You buy things and you want to use them, and then when they get used up, you want to be able to buy just that used up one. Okay, so I ran out of B-roll, so you do get to see my face. When you compare these paint markers to a Posca, which used to be, I don't know if they still are, the king of paint pens, the most popular of paint pens, I'd say they give them a run for their money, honestly. Especially if you get the A or B set, they're 83 cents a pen. And compared to a couple dollars per pen, and those come in a set of, I think, maximum 8. If I could be I could be wrong, but and I mean the Poscas do have different nib sizes, but the arrtx kind of make up for that in their good firm nib, their good firm brush nib, so they do make up for not having a variety of nib sizes, because when you use a brush, because of how you use a brush nib, they are mostly opaque in one coat. With the illustration, I didn't have to do more than 1 coat. I did do a bigger project. I did a wooden dog. Stop barking. Sorry about the dog barking. Now, these are available mainly open stock. The 60A and 60B sets are available open stock for $1.50, but you have to buy 5 and order it at a time, so that's what, a couple bucks, like $10-15 plus shipping, which isn't awful. You're gonna be paying more than, I think that a one singular Posca on Blick, which is the cheaper than Michael's, you're gonna get, I think it's like $3 a pen for 1 pen. So the value is better, I have to say. If you want pens to play around with, definitely go for the arrtx. They're cheaper, you get more. The color variety, I have to say, overall, might be better. You might get a better color selection between especially if you get both 60A and 60B. Because that's 120 pens, which I don't even think Posca makes that many colors, to be honest. I think they have like 30 pens, 30 colors. Hey, Skimpy. Move, Skimpy. I think that Posca has like 30-ish colors in their roster. So overall, now I did use the pens for a wooden project. I got those back around Christmas. I got one of those, a couple of those wooden houses on clearance for like $5 or less. Actually, I think it was less because I had the rewards. So I'll put some footage of the house there. It was a good project for this because it was mostly opaque in one coat. Mostly it was patchy. There are some patchy areas, but overall pretty good. Not good for large areas. Don't use these for large areas. Just use regular paint because it just takes forever. Good nibs. Very good nibs. On the color of the house, the blue steel type color of the house, there was some very minor fraying of the brush nib, but that's kind of a nitpick, but I did feel the need to point that out. Also, sorry for this angle. This angle is horrible. Shows my double chin. I'm sorry. I did worry about them drying out because you can't really see how much is in how much ink is left, paint is left in the barrel. But so far, so good. Didn't really have any issues, but I did worry. But that was a worry. Overall, I recommend the paint pens, and I recommend the markers, the acrylic, the alcohol markers. Everything else skip. The rest gives, we white labeled some random products and, grabbed some random products, slapped our logo on them, and called it a day. That's kind of what it's giving. Just based on me exploring a lot of art supplies on my own, and trying a lot of cheap art supplies. Unfortunately, that's kind of what it's giving. Otherwise, that's about it. Drink your water, take your meds, good sleep. I'll see you next time. Bye!